Good day to you. This is another movie, TV show that revolves around years that come out and that end in six. So last week, if you watched the video, I did a review. Kind of a reaction to the TV show Seventh Heaven. Seventh Heaven came out in 1996. And so this week I'm looking at a show that came out in 2006. So we're officially a 20-year-old TV series. And this is one honestly, the video is probably not going to be extremely long because it's just kind of a fun one. And I understand I've only made it through 3 seasons. I'm going to keep watching because it's just fun to watch. I really do want to get all the way through it. And this is going to be a common theme. When I do reactions to TV shows, it's really hard to react to the entire series and get through all of it. But by the time, and maybe if I realize something really changed my opinion after I watched it, I might come back and like, well, here's a little bit more to this or whatever. But the one I'm looking at, there's two shows I really want to review from 2006. One is Heroes, and I've already watched Heroes, and I'll come back to that. To review that a little bit later down the road. I don't know when. But the one I wanted to look at today was Psych. Psych was So I'm a fan of the show Monk. Monk is this great show is a detective show, very loosely modeled after Sherlock Holmes in many ways. And it's kind of got this a quirk to it. It's not like your typical procedural shows like here's a police officer, there's this case that happened, and done. They give a little bit character to the main characters, the main detectives. They give personality to them. They give a flair to it that makes it entertaining. That's what Monk did. And so Psych kind of falls in that same category. I don't think it has as much heart as Monk because of the reason Monk is the way he is because of the multitude of his phobias, his anxiety, his conditions or whatever. That's a lot of the reason why he is the way he is. And Psych, you don't have that with the character Sean Spencer. He's a total goofball. He is not a perfectionist, but he's basically a genius. You do have some of the tension with him and his dad, but they kind of gloss over it. And note, I'm only into the 3rd season. And in the 3rd season, I'm starting to see some recurring stories starting to emerge. And I do like there's some of the best episodes have actually been in season 3. But it's got the same kind of thing that you got going on in Monk, where you're trying to figure out the details. What are you missing? What's the thing to show who's the guilty one? It's usually that there's a murder. You're trying to figure out who did it, and he's got this insane attention to detail. And I love Gus, Burton Guster, his partner in crime. They could or partner in psych detectiveness, they could really easily make him into this like a total joke and totally useless, but they don't. He actually quite often throws in expertise. He makes use of the fact that he's a pharmaceutical, that he has knowledge of medicine, and he actually is very intelligent. They make use of that. And it comes into it. And I love that they don't have this constantly, they're fighting with each other. I mean, they have their tensions here and there. But for the most part, they always come back together. And I like the way they handle that. I like what they do with the police officers that he works with at the Santa Barbara Police Department. Karen Vick, she plays the role of the captain. She does not come off. She comes off as very intelligent, and you kind of get the vibe that she knows that that Sean is lying about being psychic, because that's part of the challenge with the show. Is he actually is. He's not a psychic. He claims to be psychic, so he could go report. He could be go solve these crimes. And the reason he's probably doing this is so he doesn't have to do um, formal detective tests and all the exams and all that stuff. And so, but I'm pretty certain she knows that he is lying. And Lassiter probably knows that he's lying. Actually does know that he's lying. But in the case of both Vic and Lassiter, they recognize that he's good at what he does. And the way they react to it's very differently. Like Lassiter, it's kind of a competition thing. And there's a very competitive thing going on between these two characters. And why does Lassiter suspicious right away? It's because he has a high regard for law enforcement, detective work, and all that. And so this raises a superstition. But then you have Juliet, played by Maggie Lawson, and she actually pretty much believes him. I know it comes later in the series that she does find out he's been lying the whole time. But why does she believe him so easily? We know pretty much the answer, that she likes him. I mean, from the first time they meet, there is an attraction to them, even though they really, really milk that. I mean, we're in the third season, and they're still teasing that relationship. But that probably might blind her to what is obvious, what's right in front of her face. Because she's not unintelligent, she is smart. But that's what emotion does. Emotion can blind us from what is right in front of us. And Lassiter isn't blind. He has emotion, but it's not blinding him because his emotion is negatively charged. And so I don't think he knows that. I mean, a lot of the way he is, it's because he knows he's lying, and he hasn't quite figured out how he's solving. I think the only one that actually knows how he's solving it, I think, is the captain. Although I haven't gone farther into the series, maybe later in the series I found out no, she never knew, but I think she did. I would not be surprised in that first episode when her and Henry sat and had a conversation. Henry told her exactly what was going on because we didn't hear the actual conversation between them. My guess is he told her everything about him, that he's a genius, and said kind of like, she respects Henry and Henry respects her, and they kind of like, we know what's going on, but this will be good for you. It'll be good for him and everything. So here's, when you look at this show from a theological standpoint, I mean, the biggest theology question in the series, like Psych, is what Sean Spencer doing, along with Burton Guster and others, is it moral? The answer is definitely no. And the actual right thing would be to have him go through the process and become a formal detective. He doesn't have to become a police officer, but to become a formal detective. Because what he is doing is requiring him to be deceitful to all these people. And people that have grown to trust him and welcome him into their circles. And that's a problem. And it does, and I've watched through the series before. I think I got just short of when Jules finds out what is going on. So I never got to that part. I know it's like in the next season. And it does a lot of damage to their relationship when she finds out, and understandable. It's not just, you're appreciative of the ability and the skill that he has, but they're not going to, obviously they won't appreciate they've been lied to, betrayed, made fools of for all these years. And so there is that obvious moral issue. And so it's like, even if when you're doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, it's still the wrong thing. And are good things being done through the action of doing the right thing, the wrong thing. Yes. Him solving these crimes and bringing justice and things like that, that's right. But how he is doing it is wrong. And that's kind of the complicated thing of it. And so you realize, I mean, we can laugh and we chuckle at what he's doing, but you do inwardly know that what he is doing is not appropriate. And it is going to blow up in his face, and it's going to do severe damage to everyone. And the thing is, when it's going to be revealed that Henry knew, his father, what is it going to do to his reputation with everyone? It's going to blow up in his face and all these people. And so, and I'm sure, you know, if you've watched through the series, you already know. And there's a weird, I'm really curious as to when, I'm assuming Lassiter eventually finds out. But part of me thinks that Lassiter, when he finds out, will be the one that handles it the best. And that's one of the things I like of the series. And again, I'm only into the third season. Is Lassiter is kind of the rival guy, but they don't really make Lassiter into a bad guy. And I like that. Because sometimes in series like this, we have this detective that's really off the charts smart. It's so tempting to turn Lassie into this running joke. And, I mean, do they have humor with him? Sure, they have humor with everybody. But, I mean, maybe they change that as a series. Maybe it gets to be that way. But at this point, it doesn't come off as he is a source of humor. A source of ridicule. And I hope they give him moments to shine, to show why is he the head detective. And apparently he got a really good score on his detective's test or whatever. They need to showcase that. And they do need to do that more, hopefully. I don't like, one of my complaints with Jules in this series is they do kind of do the Mary Sue thing with her, where she's the best of everything. I know there's that episode where it finds out that she's, you know, faster or she's quicker or smarter or whatever than Lassie. That I think there's another one where we find out that she's a better target, she's a better aim than him. It's like you have all these things that, you know, she's the best better than anyone at everything, and I don't like that because it's the Mary Sue thing. And I don't know why that's a thing in modern Hollywood, in television, movies. They make way too many of the female lead characters the best at everything. And you think, well, that's empowering women. It doesn't. Is you're giving female characters that are unrelatable. I want to see, you know, if you're really good at one thing, then show that they struggle at something else. You've got to show that. You got to show that if they're good at this one thing, they excel at it. You got to show they struggle at another thing. I mean, one of the things with Sean Spencer's character is he's extremely intelligent. He has an extreme alertness to detail. But one of the things that's shown throughout the series is when it comes to the physical qualities, he's lost. He is not even the least bit an athlete. And, you know, somebody with physical abilities or strengths or whatever. And so they show that he's definitely got flaws. They need to do, that's one of the things with female characters. If they want to have a strong female character, it's not just that she's good at things. That's good. Do make her good at things. That's totally okay. But also show that she struggles. It makes people more relatable. Because everybody has it, that they're good at something, but they really struggle at another thing. And show that. Be clear on that. Don't make them the best at everything. You know, let it be that, you know, one character is, you know, you're better than this other character at this one thing, but he's better than you at this other thing. And the thing is, that's part of how the world works. We rely on each other's strengths. If we're weak in an area, we find somebody who's strong in that area and we work with them. That's what, you know, for Christians, we talk about that as a doctrine of vocation. God created people with different strengths, different weaknesses. God created men and women with different weaknesses and strengths. And the purpose is to complement each other, to grow strong on one another. So, like I said, this is a really short review and analysis. It's a fun show to watch. It's but like I said, those are probably the main theological questions to ask is, ponder the morality of what he's doing, and a really good reminder of the damage that lying does to relationships, and the longer the lie goes on, the worse it is. And I think many of us know that. I'm coming up on my 25 years of high school, graduating from high school, and I've been talking with the kids about my experience after college. I went to DMAC, and I remember when I was withholding the new information from my dad that I had dropped out of DMAC, and I did that multiple times. Yeah, that did damage to relationships with my dad and my stepmom. That was not good. And that's what lying does. If you lie for too long, the longer you lie about something, the more the damage is, the breaking the trust. It takes a long time to rebuild that. So, anyway, so that's my review analysis. I know this is only through 3 seasons. Who knows? Maybe I'll get through more of it and I'll come back with more knowledge. But I will say, like I said, right now I'm on the 3rd season. I think that, and I'm pretty early into it. And let's see if there's a couple episodes. So these were kind of my 2 episodes I really liked. So there's this one, Murder. Anyone? Bueller? So this was from the high school reunion episode. I did like this episode. I liked, and I guess maybe because it's really interesting watching this. So this airs in 2008, and it was supposed to be his 10-year high school reunion. So that means he would have aired. So he would have graduated in 1998. So 4 years before I graduated. No, 3 years before I graduated. But anyways, I liked watching this, and they're kind of reflective. But it's so weird. It was only a 10-year reunion, and they make it look like it's a lot longer than it is, but it's not much. It's not that impressive. Your 10-year reunion is not as elaborate as maybe a 25 one would be. But I like this episode. They talk about regrets and things like that, reflecting upon what your high school years were. And I'll do a video probably in a few weeks kind of doing that. You can see how far out I'm thinking in terms of my videos. And of course, the question is whether or not I'll actually do them. It's a whole other conversation. The other one I really liked was the next episode, this Daredevils episode. I thought this was a really good one. And the guy that played, Dutch was Jeff Fahey, I think is his name. He's been in a few other movies. And he's kind of one of those actors. Oh, I recognize that guy. And great. So I thought that was a really good movie, especially the way good episode. And kind of what happened was kind of what I thought was going on. But I couldn't figure out who was doing it, but it was very close to what I predicted. But I liked it. It had a nice emotional punch. So they're starting to bring in a little bit stronger emotion in the 3rd season than they had in the 1st season. So, but anyways, there you go. And I hope this gives you thought and maybe may give you reason to go back and watch it again and appreciate it. Blessings. In Jesus' name. Amen.